Hello, everybody, and welcome into another season preview show here at the Hockey Writers YouTube channel. I'm your host, Matthew Zator, and we are up to the Dallas Stars here. I got Mark, who covers the Stars. He's been, you've been on a lot of videos, actually, with covering the Stars, playoffs, free agency, all that fun stuff. How's it going?
It's going good, Matt. Happy September, basically. We're almost there. I feel like our heads have been down, summertime grind, and all of a sudden, football starting, which means, hockey's like a month away. So it's great to be here. Great talking some Dallas Stars with you. And yeah, man, let's get to it.
For sure. Yeah, the Stars are, of course, everyone knows they keep getting kicked out in the just before the Stanley Cup final, it seems. But again, getting not as far as everyone wanted them in the playoffs. But they still return this season with a very strong team. Not many changes up front or on defense, and goaltending tandem staying the same. So we don't have any new additions really to talk about, but they do have a new head coach. So we'll talk about him. So let's just jump right into our forward group here with the Stars. I mean, there are some storylines, even though there are a lot of the same faces. Biggest one's probably Mikko Rantanen getting a full season with the Stars, because he was just not even half a season. It was It was towards the end of the season. We all know what he did in the playoffs. So what are the big storylines kind of around the forward group this season?
Yeah, well, I mean, Mikko Rantanen, like you said, first full season, right? And I think the big conversation, especially in like the rumor mill and in the media group, is everyone wants to know, first full season with no Nathan McKinnon, can he still get 100 points? And that's kind of the whole narrative. I think that is the biggest kind of question mark, and not in the context of like a bad question mark, but hey, it's his first season. What's going to happen here? What's that first line going to look like? We all know Granlund came in, not quite the trade deadline in January. Him, Hintz, and Rantanen had a very good chemistry going, the whole Finnish Mafia thing, and they had a really good chemistry. Well, Granlund's gone now. Looks like Robertson will probably go up there. We'll see what happens. I'm sure that it'll be 2-3 months of figuring out the perfect lines. But that's a big one, right? Rantanen, perennial 100-point getter. Can he remain that with the Dallas Stars? I think the other one is, Granlund gone, Marchment gone. You have Matt Duchene, Tyler Seguin. And so they have their core that's aging and the young players coming up. So how it's been for, a few years now, Matt Duchene, Tyler Seguin have had this like awesome chemistry, and that was with Mason Marchment. Well, Marchment's gone now. So can those two keep that chemistry with somebody else? The other storyline with the offense is Wyatt Johnston has been a third line center, which in the NHL, having Wyatt Johnston as your third line center is an absolute luxury, right?
Yeah.
So does he make that jump now? Like Donov's gone, Maverick Bourque. Can he take that next big step? Jamie Benn. What is Jamie Benn? By all accounts, everyone loves him. He's the captain. He's the leader. He's not the player he once was. Right now, people have him slotted in the second line. I personally don't think that's a good fit, but who else is really ready to make that jump up to the second line? So you have a very, very top-heavy unit. But there are questions. If you take away Wyatt Johnston, there are questions with the bottom six. Very, very skilled, absolutely. But there's a couple holes with the bottom six that we'll be curious to see what happens there.
Yeah, there was a time where Mikael Granlund, there was a chance that he was going to come back.
Yeah.
But of course, signed in Anaheim. Pretty big contract too, just for a couple of years. But I mean, it looked like a very good fit on that top line. And probably would have liked him to come back. I mean, they did try to get him back, but I mean, for that money, I don't know. It seemed like that was just a ton of money to throw at him for a guy that I don't know if he's really worth that. So
yeah, I don't think $7 million. And this is just like my own personal opinion. I don't know anything crazy. I don't think $7 million was like the ticket. Like he needs $7 million or else he's not coming back. I just think that you sign Matt Duchene to $4.5 million. And you basically traded Mason Marchment, who was making $4.5 million basically right away, right? I like Matt Duchene. He was the team's leading scorer last year. I like Matt Duchene. I just think the chemistry that Granlund had with Rantanen, with Hintz. Listen, I like Tyler Seguin. He's on his way out. Who knows how many couple years this guy has left? He has this year, and then I think one more year left on his deal. I like that chemistry, but Rantanen, Hintz, that's your future. So I would have personally preferred not resigning Duchene and then bringing back Granlund. But who knows? Would 4.5 been enough? I don't know. So maybe that hole's just like, I don't know, moot point. Maybe it doesn't matter. But that was my kind of thought, was like, I like Duchene, but what Granlund had with those guys, I thought was the beginning of potentially something special. And like, once again, not to take nothing out from Duchene. I just liked what those guys had going on the first line.
Yeah, for sure. I did too. So, I mean, it all depends. I don't know what, like I say, you don't know if that was the money that that were going to give it to him or not, but Anaheim did, and that's where he is now. All right, let's shift to the defense because again, this has no changes really. I mean, all the core guys are back. Miro Heiskanen leading the way, of course. But what do you have for storylines there? I mean, again, it was still a very strong unit. They did lose some guys though. Matt Dumba's not on the team anymore. I think that's probably the biggest guy that's gone. But so I mean, he's in Pittsburgh now. What do you think about the defense going in?
Yeah, I mean, Matt Dumba, I think the idea of him was really great. The idea of this big, strong, tough guy, potential shot from the blue line, nothing really materialized there with him. So you're not really losing anything that he was here. Maybe losing something that he maybe could have been, but you're not really losing what he was here. For me, there's two big questions. Number one, Thomas Harley had a coming out party last year. Now, if you're a Dallas Stars fan, then this was no coming out party. You've known about this guy for the last few years. Terrific defenseman, terrific shot, terrific power play, whatever, 5-on-5, the guy's terrific. But with the Four Nations face-off, right, with the injury and him coming up and Thomas Harley, who is this guy? Like, apparently, like, nobody knew who this guy was until Four Nations face-off came. And so for me, this is the last year of a bridge deal for Thomas Harley. So this opens up a whole other can of worms that we won't necessarily talk about today, but they got to pay him and they got to pay Jason Robertson. So that's a fun storyline to keep an eye on for the summer. But to me, Thomas Harley, man, this guy, year after year, he has been moving up when it comes to points. Last year in 78 games, 16 goals, 50 points, plus 32. In the playoffs, some big goals. Overtime winner, I believe, against the Jets in the second round. And so I'm really curious to watch him. Now, to caveat, or not caveat, but to segue, is the word I'm looking for, is the power play was not very good last year until Heiskanen got hurt. And then Harley stepped in, and all of a sudden he's ripping shots from the blue line, and the power play catapults to one of the best in the league. Now, at the end of the year, it didn't finish as the best, but from January 1st to the end of the year, it was a top 10 power play. And that was with Harley at the helm. So I'm curious. We're going to talk about the head coach, but with the new head coach, he was the wizard behind the power play for the Oilers, where since he's been there with the Oilers, that power play has been the best power play in the league in the 7 years that he's been there. Now, I know, I hear everybody watching. They have McDavid, they have Draisaitl. I get it, but they had them before, and the power play wasn't very good until he got there. So that's going to be something to watch out for. Is Thomas Harley going to get some more power play time? I'm curious for that. On the other side of it, Nils Lundqvist. I'm really curious to see if he can finally take that step. Pete DeBoer, so when he came in, he had a lot of potential offensively, and his defense wasn't that great. And something switched where we need this guy to be really solid defensively, and the offense doesn't matter. Well, that's just not who he is. He needs to have that puck, and it's just not who he is. So in the kind of changing his game from that two-way defenseman to a stay-at-home defenseman, he kind of lost his way. Pete DeBoer also just didn't want to play the guy. He was either hurt or he was scratched, and there was just a lot, or he would play for like 5 minutes. Something was weird between him and Petey. I don't know what the issue was, but he just didn't like playing the guy. Well, again, you have a new head coach, and this is basically his spot now. Like, as you mentioned, Dumba's gone. Brandon Smith is gone. There are a couple guys in the weeds, Petrovic, and a couple others, but for the most part, this is his spot now. So I'm really curious to see if he can take that next step. Other than that, everybody is basically mainstay. Like Lindell, Heiskanen, obviously, Harley, Labushkin, Bischel last season came out. Big, strong guy that the Stars just simply don't have besides him. So the only guy who needs to really solidify his place is Nils Lundqvist, and I'm very curious to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I was brought from the Rangers a couple seasons ago now, I think, and I mean and he's been a high end type. Well, he was a high end prospect for a while, and then he's kind of fallen off a bit, and it's like he still has a lot of potential. But we'll see if he can kind of step forward and take that opportunity, because he does have that big opportunity for sure. So that's a big question to take a look at in training camp and then during the season. All right, moving to the goaltending, which again, same tandem: Jake Ottinger, Casey DeSmith, very strong. Of course, we all know how Ottinger plays. He's one of the best goaltenders in the league. Is that basically, I mean, do you have any question marks with the goaltending, or is it just going to be, I mean, Ottinger has a chance, maybe make the Olympic team, who knows? But we'll see how that goes. What do you think about the goaltending?
I am very high on this tandem. I like that Casey DeSmith is coming back. For the last few years, they've been bringing in different guys over the last couple of years. So to bring him in, this is the second year of a 3-year deal. So he's going to be here for the next couple of years. And I don't know if that necessarily matters, other than just like normality, right? Like just like comfort level. You're not going to have Casey starting 40 games, right? He's not going to be splitting the net. You know that there's basically no competition. It's Jake Ottinger's net. Win, lose, blowout, it doesn't matter. That's his net. And Casey DeSmith will be called on to start 26, maybe 32 games. So I really like that. For Jake, I I feel like this is a really big season for him in the sense that I feel like just people don't want to all the way buy in on this guy. You know? I just feel like there's something where it's like, oh yeah, Jake Ottinger, great, but is he a top 5 goalie? Oh yeah, Jake Ottinger, great, but he got outplayed by Stuart Skinner 2 years in a row. Is he the guy to take you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just something about him is always, he is great, but there's no period at the end of that sentence, right? And so I'm really curious to watch this year. With the Olympic year, we all know Connor Hellebuck, Jake Ottinger, Jeremy Swayman, and the fourth name escapes me of who got asked to the Olympic team. Or not the team, but the camp this past summer. But so to me, he's on the team. I would be surprised. Now, starting, we all know that that's Connor Hellebuck's net, right? But just from the media, from the writers who follow this team, I get the feeling that Jake's kind of a petty guy, and not in like, if we were like bros, I don't think he'd be petty, but I just mean like, he wants to prove that he's the best goalie in this league. He wants to prove I belong in that net for Team USA. So what does that do? Jason Robertson really wanted to make the team last year for 4 Nations, and he spoke about how that actually hurt his play in the first half of the year. Will that be the same thing for Jake Ottinger? I don't feel like he's that kind of guy. But I just feel like Jake still has something to prove, even though in my mind, he's proven it year after year. Last year, that playoff run, we were together for that whole run, Matty, and he was the reason why they made it to the conference finals, right? And the wheels were falling off from game 1 against Colorado, and Jake drug his team to the final. So that's my question mark here. It's not like nothing negative. I just think that he still has something to prove for whatever reason. And I'm just curious to watch that. And does the Olympic job just make him just that extra kind of take that to the, you know, because athletes, they're like that, man. They just like make stuff up in their heads that just like, oh, you don't believe in me? Oh, like watch this. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've seen him be brilliant in the playoffs time and time again. I mean, like you said, last season, the year when they played the Flames, he was the like bar none the best goalie. So I mean, that's something to watch. I think he is personally. I think he is very much a top 5 goaltender. But I do see those questions. It's like he does have that. There's still that question mark about him. So we'll see how it kind of goes. He does have that leg up on Hellebuck with the playoffs. He does come to play in the playoffs. Hellebuck, there's been some issues there. So I think Ottinger has that.
To put it lightly.
I mean, along with his team, and it's not only Hellebuck. But we'll see how Ottinger goes.
Sorry, Matt. Just one more thing. I think what really bodes well for this conversation is the fact that Pete DeBoer got fired, which we haven't talked about. But there's no doubt that there was already friction between the team and Pete DeBoer. That whole debacle of Game 5 in the conference final, like that whole thing, and then the press conference after. And now, on the one hand, you have to have Jake's back because he just signed an 8-year deal like 6 months ago or whatever. But also it's like, no, man, we're not testing this water anymore. We're not pushing this any further. You're done. This is our guy. And I think that, not that Jake is like, haha, like not like that, but I just think that that's like the team saying like, we're not putting up with that. He's our guy. And I think that kind of gives him an extra little, you know, like, so we'll see.
I agree with that for sure. They had to do something because you just signed this goalie for 8 years. You don't want to, you know, get him angry and then he wants out, which is not, that's not a good thing to have. Who do you have to replace him unless you're, you know, of course, getting a goaltender in return. but it won't be as good as him for sure. Well, I mean, that's a good segue to the head coach, new head coach, and that's, new old, I guess. Glen Gulutzan has been the head coach of the Dallas Stars before, but that was when he was much younger, and he's got a ton more experience under his belt as multiple years assistant coach with the Vancouver Canucks. I know him from here. I mean, he was pretty good as an assistant coach in Vancouver here for a number of years. Mm-hmm. And then he went, like you mentioned, the Edmonton Oilers, and he ran the power play there. I mean, this second go around, he's a lot more of a experienced head coach, probably better served to be a head coach now. So absolutely. What do you think what are your expectations for him coming in?
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed only because Neil Graham, who's been the head coach for the Texas Stars in the minors, he was like a prime candidate, and I really wanted to see him get a shot. So when Glenn first got hired, I was like, man, I was rooting for Neil Graham and that kind of, but then you kind of dig in. Now Neil Graham has been promoted to the Dallas Stars bench, so that's huge. But that's a whole other conversation. But like you said, man, when you look back, and I mean, Glenn said it, like he basically said, this is the Marc Sautter version. So take it, paraphrase, but he basically said, like, when I came here the first time, I was a new head coach in this league, and I needed my hands to be in everything. I needed to have my hands in the power play, the penalty kill, this, the that. And he's learned over time the roles of his bench, the roles, the coach that runs the power play and the penalty kill, and to let his team, as in the coach team, do their job. And I find that to be very interesting when he talked about that. He's talked about how, because he was a head coach here, and then a head coach for Calgary, I believe, for a little bit. But besides that, he's been behind the bench, right? He's been doing his thing behind the bench. And what I like about his time with the Oilers is he was there for multiple head coaches, where it's not odd to see when a new head coach comes in, he picks his own guys. Now, Chris Knobloch was new himself, so maybe that has something to do with it. But I am right there with you. And I think, and I mean, Glenn talked about this too, where I actually wrote about this a couple months ago, and other great writers from different websites have been talking about it as well. How he basically said, like, he straight up said, I have been a coach on a bench with the best players in the world. He's like, I know how to operate teams with talent. Now, the Stars don't have, McDavid and like Draisaitl, but they have superstar talent on the front end, on the back end, and in the net as well. So I think that is huge, just to know how to operate with superstars on your bench. I think that matters. The other thing is, and if you watch the Oilers, specifically in the postseason the last couple of years, their physicality really took over as the playoffs went on. And they bullied Dallas, especially this past postseason. They just bullied Dallas. And something that Dallas has been missing. If you're going to ask me, Mark, what's the one thing this team needs? There's a few things, but if I have to pick one, it's be harder to play against, be physical, be mean, win your battles. And that's something he's already been preaching a lot about. They brought in Faxa, they brought in Bastion, and we didn't talk about that. They're not like high-end names, but they are guys who will hit, who will use their body. We talked about Bishop on the back end. So I just think this guy has really learned a lot since his first time here. And I think, I mean, what's better, man, to be the not backup coach, the assistant coach for a team like the Oilers, where, like you said, he ran the power play. Now, typically the Stars have a good power play. Last year was not one of those years, like we talked about before. And in the postseason, they would score like 3 power play goals in like one period and then not score a power play goal for whatever. So I think that really matters too. So I really like this hiring on a like further look. I really like this hiring. I think he's ready. I also really like that they kept the majority of their coaching staff. Steve Spott went to Boston, I believe. He was running the power play for the last couple years. Now him and Pete DeBoer are coached together for like a decade. So wherever Pete goes, Steve will follow eventually, I'm sure. But he has a very, very good coaching staff with him there. And I think that that's really strong for him. And I think that he has really come a long way. And I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, I was a little bit surprised with him being hired. Well, I same. I thought they would promote their AHL coach because he's been doing a great job with the Texas Stars. So
for a while,
he still got promoted. So he's still on the bench. So that's a good thing for him too. So we'll see how it all kind of plays out with this new coach, new old coach, I guess. But it's pretty much new because it's a pretty new, different. It's quite a bit different of a team than when he coached last.
Oh, yeah. Jamie Benn, right? That's it. Like just Jamie Benn. He's the only one.
Much different.
Yeah, he's the only, I think he's the only one.
Probably because it was a long time ago. And Ben was quite a bit younger.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
All right. Let's talk about the division, which, I mean, is still ridiculously strong. You've got the Colorado Avalanche, Dallas Stars, Winnipeg Jets are the big three. They're like the perennial powerhouse triplets, I guess, because they always got over 100 points. They're always fighting there. Is that where the Stars are still? Are they in that top three, or have they taken a step back? I mean, you can't say really unless the other teams got better.
Yeah, I mean, I do think so. Yes, I do think they are in the top three still. I do think there are question marks, like we already talked about, especially with the bottom six. I think losing Granlund. Now, Granlund was only there since January, so it's not like this guy has been with the team or whatever. But like I said, I really do think that he had something good going there. There are question marks specifically with the bottom six and maybe one hole on the left wing on the top six. That being said, I think Dallas is continuing to go up. I think that their young talent like Robertson, Hintz is still in his prime. Obviously, having Rantanen in there now for a full summer, now full training camp, then the full season. Obviously, Wyatt Johnston, every year, he's just scoring 30 goals and just doing what he needs to do, right? Now, we can talk about the playoffs. There's questions about the playoffs. I get that. But if we're just talking regular season, I really like Dallas to just continue to do like what they've been doing. Now, when it comes to the rest of the top three and going to the division, I do think that Utah is not guaranteed win night anymore.
No, that's true.
I think St. Louis with Jim Montgomery, you got to be ready every night you play them. I think Minnesota, if their superstars can stay healthy for one season, for the love of God, if those guys can stay healthy, I think Minnesota, like they can be trouble too. So it's not just the top three. You got teams coming up behind you. Nashville, will the summer of wonders of last year, will that finally pay dividends now? Who knows? But the talent's certainly there. So I just don't think it's like last year, we were very pleasantly surprised to see the Wild kind of do what they did for the first half of the year. And then the injuries, like they just couldn't keep it going. But at the beginning of the year, it was like, you got Dallas, Colorado, Winnipeg, one of those three teams, right? Where now it's like, hey, man, don't look over your shoulder because everyone's coming for you. Now, specifically with Colorado and Winnipeg, again, this is my personal opinion. I'd be curious to know your thoughts. Is Colorado, I think they've gotten better. I really like what they've done. Their goaltending is good. I would say not comparable to Winnipeg or Dallas, but I like what they did with the goaltending last year. I like the signings that Colorado's made, the trades that they made. I think they're much deeper down the middle than they were last year. And so I think Colorado is the team that you're going to have to beat, in my opinion. I think Dallas and Colorado will be battling. Now, I like Winnipeg, but I don't really know what they've done to keep up with the Joneses, right? I think Dallas has these budding superstars that are continuing to get older and in their prime, and they added Rantanen. Their back ends come into shape. Winnipeg, I really like Connor. By the way, that guy, I was like doing some work and I was looking it up. Like Kyle Connor just scores 45 goals every year. Like no one talks about this guy. I like Scheifele, obviously. I like Connor. I like Morrissey. I like that they re-signed Velarde. But I don't really know what they did to keep up with the pace that Colorado and Dallas seems to be going at. Now, that being said, I feel like I say that every September and they just roll the whole year. So, don't listen to me. But I would definitely put Dallas, Colorado. You can pick which team you want, 1 and 2. And then I would put kind of Winnipeg slightly below. But the rest of that division is coming, bro. Don't sleep on the rest of that division.
I agree. I mean, Utah for sure. They're a team that's just they're tough to play against. My gosh, and they added a ton more in the offseason with JJ Peterka, which is going to add to their top 6 for sure.
Huge.
So I mean, they're a tough team, and I agree. They're not an easy win anymore. I mean, from a Canucks perspective, they've never been an easy win. But whatever. We're not talking about the Canucks. I think, this division is going to be tougher to come out of this season. And I do agree with Winnipeg. I don't know. We're going to do a preview on them in the future, but I'm not sure about Jonathan Toews. I mean, it seems like he's slotted in as a second-line center right now. I don't know about that. And Gustav Nyquist is not young either, and he's slated to be a top 6 guy too. So it's like, I don't know. But we'll talk about the Jets later.
Yeah. And just really quickly, I think that's what gives me pause is like, if we're strictly looking like down the middle, then you cannot argue that Colorado and Dallas they have their 1, 2, 3, where like Winnipeg has their 1 and their 4 and the 3 and the 2. You might see them kind of bounce back and forth, and that's just not like productive, right? So that's what kind of I'm rooting for the whole Jonathan Toews story. We all are, obviously,
for sure.
But it's just you just can't predict how that's going to go.
Yeah, I mean, don't know what Toews is coming. I mean, he is 36, I think.
And he hasn't played in 2.5 years, right? So or 3 or whatever it's been.
We'll see. All right, let's go to our quick fire round, and these are all just quick questions, quick answers. 1 or 2 sentences for these. So we'll start with the biggest storyline or question mark going into this season. Now, what is it for the Stars?
I mean, if this includes the playoffs, it's obviously, can they get past the conference final, for the love of God? Right? If we're talking big picture, it's conference final. Can they finally get past there and get to the Stanley Cup? To me, it would be like the coaching staff. To me, I think Pete DeBoer has got this team as far as he can. Can this coaching staff, is there going to be a learning curve? There will be one, but will there be a learning curve that is visible? Will we see the learning curve in the standings throughout the season, right? That to me is just a big storyline. Obviously, Rantanen is going to be one as well. But to me, that's the hot topic right now in Dallas is this coaching staff. So yeah, that would be it. And I would put who else in that top six. You have Rantanen, you have Robertson. Who else on that wing? Will it be Maverick Bourque? That's kind of like the depth in the top six was kind of the after, but the coaching staff for me would be the biggest storyline.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see how they kind of work, because I mean the thing is, it's not just a new head coach. You've got a new assistant in there too, but for the most part, it's similar. It's when there's a new voice there, it's interesting to see what kind of changes happen system wise too, to see if what type of team it's going to be, or is it going to be a similar one than last season or not. All right, breakout stars. I mean, it's funny how when we're talking about the stars, breakout stars, but yeah, what do you got for someone that's breaking out this season?
Yeah, I mean, I've already said it a couple times. I'm really looking at Maverick Bourque. He is somebody on that right side, and you can kind of bounce him back and forth, but he's somebody that I am really looking at. Very good player last season. My apologies, just really quickly pulling this up. Maverick Bourque last season, 11 goals, 14 assists, 25 points plus 6. The majority of those points, if you watched any of the playoff preview rounds, my catchphrase is from January 1st on, because literally these teams this was a different team from the 2024 switching to 25, and most of those points from Maverick Bourque came in 2025. I just think Logan Stankoven is gone now, and this is now his spot for the taking. And there's still just something left to be desired. He's young, technically rookie last season. Right now in this top six, Robertson, Hintz, Rantanen, Duchesne, Seguin. You have Johnston, who is a centerman. You can put him on the wing if you have to, but they prefer not to do that. Those are your 5. There's a spot up there waiting. And I really think it would do well for Maverick Bourque to take that, to run with it. You have Colin Blackwell, who has proven that he can play. That guy's a sneaky good player, man. I don't know how many people, general fans, would even know who this guy is, but he can bounce back and forth between the top 6 and the bottom 6. So for me, breakout star, I'm looking at Maverick Bourque, man. Now is your time to shine. If we're talking defensively, there's only real one option. I guess technically 2. Liam Bichsel, he really broke out last year. He basically was back and forth between the AHL, the NHL. He's not going anywhere this year. He is here now. Like we said, it's time for Nils Lundqvist. It's time for him to break out. So basically back to the conversation we had earlier. Those are the 2 guys, man. Other than that, this roster basically has the proper guys in their places. It's those 2 guys that need to decide where they want to be.
Yeah, for sure. They could probably fall into a later category too, for sure. All right. Other side, bounce back players. Who needs to bounce back from last season?
Bounce back from last season. I mean, Jason Robertson needs to put a full 82 together. I think it's hard to say bounce back year if you look at his points and you look at his totals and you say bounce back. What do you mean? He was literally a no-show for pretty much the first 3 months of the season. And once again, January 1st. It's like a drinking game with me. Like have a shot ready every time I say January 1st. But he needs to put that full 82 together. And if you look at Jason Robertson, he should be in that conversation for top 5 winner in the National Hockey League.
Yeah.
But it's these zones of invisibility that he just has. Like he does this every year where it's like 3-4 weeks. Last year was 2-3 months where the guy just disappears. And he really needs for that not to happen this time around. That's really, if we're saying bounce back, again, you look at the end of the year, terrific stats, high numbers. But like Jason Robertson, and again, forgive me, I'm just pulling this back up here real quickly. He had 80 points this past season, 80 points the year before. That 109-point season in 22-23, that's the Robertson that we're looking at. And once again, 80 points 2 years in a row, not too shabby, but we all know this guy is way more than that. He can be more than that. And so if he can put a full 6-month season together, I think that's what we're looking for here. Yeah,
I agree. I think Robertson, like first half of the season was like, well, not half, but till January, he wasn't that good at all. No. But then after January, he was the star that everyone hopes and wants on the Stars. So we'll see if he can do that this season. All right, let's move to potential X factors. This can be a situation, player, anything, where you ever want to go with this. What do you got?
Yeah, I potential X factor, I would say, there's a couple different places you could go. I would say the power play. Mm-hmm. And my reasoning for that is the penalty kill just year over year is top 3. It's like chalked up top 3. That's what's happening. The coaching staff that takes care of the penalty kill is returning. It's been the same staff for a while now. But as we said, that power play unit at the first half of the year cost this team some wins and cost this team some points, specifically in the first 3 months of the season. Now, again, it feels weird saying stuff like this when they have 106 points and and they have home ice in the first round of the playoffs. It's like, well, if their power play just picked it up, they would have been, it cost them points, but that's the truth of it. And so that's for me, man. If this power play with like the new coach, the boy wonder, the savant of Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, that to me is a big X factor. And the other one is, like we talked about before, Jake Ottinger has been like we said, in our opinions, a top 5 goalie for a while now. Maybe I'm thinking about this too hard, Matty, but this Olympic thing, I really think this has got a burr under his saddle, I think is how the saying goes. Like I really feel like that whole situation is just going to push him to another level. I don't know why. This is no calculated, educated theory. I just feel like he's just hearing Hellebuck's name a lot, and it's driving him crazy. And so Jake Ottinger is not an X factor. We all know he's going to be great, but that situation, I just feel like there's this potential for him just to take that next kind of level that we haven't seen from him before, which is crazy to say because he's just one of the best goalies in the league year after year. Yeah. So understand me. Jake in itself, not an X factor, but the situation surrounding him, I think there's something brewing for him to have a big season.
Yeah, I agree on both of them because I mean power play, yeah, they were a great team and stuff like that, but you can push yourself over the top with a better power play, for sure. So yeah, those two definitely X factors. All right, let's shift to the prospects. And I mean, the Stars, they don't have a ton of high-end guys that are going to enter the lineup this season. I mean, Liam Bichsel was probably the guy, but now he's probably a full-time NHLer this season, like you said. So what other prospects should everyone be watching outside the system this season?
Yeah, so I mean, the real one to keep an eye on, the obvious one, is hard to really call him a prospect just because he's not technically a prospect, but Petrovic just keeps on being in the AHL. And then he comes up into the NHL and he's awesome, but he just doesn't stay. And so is he going to bounce back and forth? If you're looking at long term, maybe watching some junior hockey, stuff like that, Cameron Schmidt is the guy who I believe, I apologize, that's his first, Cameron Schmidt. He was that one player who in the draft, this past draft, everybody said first round talent, but he was picked in round 3, right? That was kind of the thing that everybody kind of talked about. This guy won't see the NHL. He won't be around. Like you said, I don't think they have too many guys that were like recently drafted or prospects who will really be making like this team. Like we just said, every player is in their place with this team. I don't see any rookies really breaking through, but if you want to watch some junior hockey, some Dallas Stars talent, hey, what do we got? This kid, Cameron Schmidt, by all accounts, he is the guy to keep your eye on. It was his size. His size kept him back. That's the reason why he was drafted in round 3. Last year with the Vancouver Giants, your neck of the woods, 40 goals, 78 points in 61 games, 1.28 points per game. He's the prospect to keep an eye on. He won't be playing with the big leagues probably for the next couple years. But that's the player that everyone's like kind of talking about when it comes to the future of the Dallas Stars.
Oh, I love Cameron Schmidt, so I'm glad you brought him up. He's one of my favorite prospects. I wrote his prospect profile. So yeah, he's again undersized but super talented. So definitely gonna be watching him throughout the season here in Vancouver because he plays for the Giants. So there you go.
Yes, sir.
All right, this could be an easy one. Although there is a new player that's going to be in this conversation. Who's leading the team in scoring at forwards and defense?
Okay. Scoring. Is that goals or points?
You can go both. I know I should split it. So you can go who leads the team in goals and who leads the team in points.
All right. I think that Jason Robertson bounces back. The one thing that we have not said, just to be fair to Jason Robertson, we're ripping on the first half of his year last year. He had a procedure on his foot last summer. Took him a long time to kind of get the ball rolling. I am expecting, again, did not make it to the Four Nations team. Talked about how hard that was for him. And so, hey, the Olympics are coming. Let's see what that does for him. Similar to the Jake conversation, I think Jason Robertson regains his 40-goal plus form. I think that he leads the team in goals. Mikko Rantanen, lots of people saying, oh, Nathan McKinnon. Blah. I think this guy leads the Stars in points this year, especially if he's on that line with Robertson and Hintz, and he's on the power play. I just don't see a world where Rantanen's not leading the team in points. I just don't see it. Now, on defense, historically, like Miro has to be the guy. Like that, he has to be the guy. a big reason for that was that this guy would play the majority of the power play time, and Thomas Harley got none of it.
Yeah.
If you were, maybe I'll say Miro, and I will say what I'm about to say for another topic. But let's say Miro, because that just historically. But watch out for Thomas Harley, man. That guy's coming.
There we go. Well, the final one, and this is where it's probably going to come up, is the last part of the show, our bold predictions and hot takes. So what do you got for a bold prediction?
I mean, now that I think about it, I thought that I had something spicy cooking up here. Maybe it's not that bold. But I think Thomas Harley takes that next step, and I'll say he leads all defensemen in points, and I think he leads the team in, and this is a bold one, leads the team in helpers, assists. Maybe that's a bold one. I think that because I do think he's going to get a lot more power play time than he has had. And so, yeah, for me, I don't know, Matt. Maybe I'm not that creative. I just think that this team has been a very dominant regular season team for so long, and they just can't get past the conference finals. So what left hot is there to say? Like the only hot thing to say is that this team is missing the playoffs and they're going to draft in the top 5. You know what I mean? I don't really know where else to go with it. I really like Thomas Harley. If he gets more power play time, I like him to take that next step. And how about this for a hot take? They have been the most hit team and the team with the least amount of hits for the last 2 years now. Adding Faxa, adding Bastion, and Glen Gulutzan talking about we need to be tougher and harder to play against, the Dallas Stars will be in the top 5 for hits, which nobody else will care about that except for Dallas Stars fans. They'll be like, finally. And Liam Bishop back there too. So, but yeah man, I can't wait to see Thomas Harley, man. Like what this guy does, because now that the world knows about him, it's going to be fun to watch.
100%. I think he really came out last season and definitely a top defenseman in the league. Now it took a little time for him to get to that point, but definitely a guy to watch. All right. Well, thanks, Mark, for coming on and talking Dallas Stars. It's going to be a fun team to watch again. It'll be an interesting thing to see what type of system Glen Gulutzan puts in or what changes he makes. But it's going to be a fun season. But thanks for coming on. Make sure to check out everything at talkbears.com. We got tons of season preview coverage already on the site. Lots of articles, lots of stuff. Also got the bunch of YouTube previews already out there. If you want to take a look at some other teams, you can take a look at that. But until our next one, we will see you next time.